Guardians of the Galaxy, and what they have done is the Avengers have decided that they need to have someone on the Guardians team to represent the Avengers, and so Flash Thompson becomes the new Venom. He then goes to join the Guardians, and when he goes up there, he eventually becomes more attached to Venom. In fact, he becomes the perfect Venom, the way that the symbiote was meant to be. Because in the comics leading up to this, Venom has always been kind of a crazy character. And so when, the symbiote finally makes it back to his homeworld, it gets fixed and then is attached again by the other members of the species back to Flash Thompson, and he becomes really what, Venom should have been all along.
Well, yeah, the true Venom.
The true Venom.
They're doing two which kind of coincide with each other. The Howling Commandos of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. No clue on if they tie in with the TV show at all.
I'm not sure whether the Howling Commandos occurred during World War II, and these were the team that went off and backed up Agent Carter and Captain America. But it'll be really interesting to see what they do with these characters, and I agree whether to see if they'll attach this to the movie or not. But I think,
or even like with the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. if they'll tie it in with a TV show of the same name.
I'm kind of hoping they don't necessarily. No,
it'd be nice to see a different direction.
But as long as Agent Coulson is still involved with it, but to take it maybe in a different direction, but just have Agent Coulson as either the leader of the group or underneath Nick Fury. Yeah, no,
it'll be interesting how they work that. I hope they don't tie it in. Be nice to see a different team, different.
Well, absolutely. But Coulson has become so involved with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and S.H.I.E.L.D. in general. But he's been brought up in several different cartoon series. I believe in at least 2 different Spider-Man series.
Marvel is not afraid to shake things up.
Absolutely not, but I think at this point, Coulson has become so... he was probably one of the most beloved characters, and a lot of fans were, quite upset when he was killed off in the first Avengers movie.
Yes.
Although, the whole situation where, he is still dead in the cinematic universe is kind of puzzling.
Yes, dead in the cinematic universe, but not dead on TV.
So...
It's very... confusing.
Yeah.
So they're doing Uncanny Inhumans. Not really sure.
The Inhumans is actually... they've touched on the Inhumans in the... Actually, on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. These are people that were either born with abilities or they go up and they gain abilities in somewhere along the line, like some magically way or something, I would imagine. And I know that we'll see more Inhumans in Season 2, or Season 3 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., since they're putting together a group that is going to be led by Skye.
Yeah. They're also doing Karnak.
Karnak, I don't really know.
That
Karnak
seems like
is.
a very brand new one. I love seeing brand new comics. Honestly, from what I've seen of a lot of them, the artwork is unbelievable this year. They're really beyond detailed. Angela, Asgard Assassin. So a female assassin from Asgard.
Yeah, Angela, I'm sort of familiar with her.
They didn't do it very long or very well. Yeah. So they're bringing that back. Squadron Supreme, I believe, is another new one.
And see, I think part of it is some of these characters that have given comic books, it may just be that they came up in other comics and were like minor characters or supporting characters and Marvel decided to give them their own series like they've done so many other times.
Yeah. It's also another big year for X-Men. And Extraordinary X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, All New X-Men. They're also doing Old Man Logan and All New Wolverine.
That's interesting that they're going back to Old Man Logan. I'm wondering...
But they're also releasing an All New Wolverine, so I'm wondering if it's a possibility that there's a new Wolverine.
Well, it's possible. Again, we touched on it before that Wolverine, there's now a woman Wolverine who's his daughter. So
yeah, but like at the same time though, like when you got in the movies where Hugh Jackman has announced that he's retiring from Wolverine, maybe this is Marvel's way to continue on the Wolverine name with a brand new character by introducing a new comic book with a new character, so they could continue it in the movies. And
that's quite possible.
That catches me off guard. I didn't see any cover for it. I didn't see any description for it. I'd have to do more research on it before I know more.
Yeah.
And it's. I hope they continue to find a way to do a new Logan, especially after they released that special, I believe, 4-part comic book of the death of Wolverine.
Oh yeah, I mean they definitely could go off and change it up. Who knows? They may just go off and somehow he gets killed. Logan gets killed off, and somehow he's brought back as younger. And I don't know, maybe they bring in like the Shi'ar or something who go off and regenerate him, and he looks younger, or because he's been damaged or something, so he can't look exactly the way he was before.
Yeah, it'll definitely be unique and interesting to see what Marvel does with Wolverine.
Well, the thing is, again, it's in the comics, yeah. In the cinematic universe, I mean, unfortunately, that's not really up to Marvel since they don't actually have the creative control over X-Men.
Yeah, but that's Sony again, right?
I think that's... I think it's Paramount who has control of X-Men.
Wow, Paramount actually controls something.
I think is. I get it's.
Well, either way, I'm wondering if with Sony finally working with Marvel with the Spider-Man, maybe there's a few other backroom deals that we don't know about that maybe Marvel is working with, the owners of X-Men and making something easier to bring it to film. And, some backdoor deals that no one really fully knows about. It seems that way.
But I mean, going back to Old Man Logan, I'm kind of curious to see whether they're just going to just redo the entire story, or if they're going to go for a continuation from where the original series went.
That definitely will be interesting. Obviously, you can tell that Wolverine is a very famous, character.
It's honestly, he is probably maybe within the top 5 best characters that Marvel's ever created.
But what raises my eye is the fact that it's not Old Man Wolverine. It's Old Man Logan.
Well, that's just it. That was what the original series was. It was Old Man Logan.
But
it was never Old Man Wolverine.
It makes you wonder if that is the official end of Logan as Wolverine.
It's possible.
Having both of them come out in the same year... all new Wolverine, Old Man Logan. It just seems almost as a passing of the torch.
But you have to remember again, it's, Marvel likes to play with time. Just like they're going off and doing a series where they have Spider-Man, 2099.
That is true.
And so, I mean, this is, could just be, another, Wolverine series, in the distant future.
Yeah, and the very last comic book coming out, which is the one I'm most excited for, Deadpool. You cannot go wrong with Deadpool.
As long as he goes off and continues to break down the fourth wall to talk to,
he can. As long as he continues to be the butt-kicking character he is. Like, if you take that away and you turn, Deadpool into a child-friendly character, you don't have Deadpool anymore.
Well, no, Deadpool definitely. I mean, he is not rated G for.
Oh, he's not rated E for everyone.
No, he's definitely not E for everyone.
Although he likes to think he is. So
I'm not even sure about that. But, he's just...
He tries to be a woman's man.
Yeah, he's a ladies' man in his own mind.
Definitely. So, that rounds out the 45 comics that Marvel is coming out with. So, obviously, definitely a huge year for Marvel.
It's not a big surprise. The timing, just before San Diego Comic-Con, it seems like a really good time for them to go off and bring all this information
San Diego was a huge time of year for comic book lovers, comic book creators. As we've said, the comic book for the KFC is going to be distributed at San Diego. There's going to be
I still can't believe that.
I can't believe it either, but it's a way for them to brand their image more. It's a unique propaganda. Talking about San Diego, there's another comic book coming out that they are releasing during San Diego Comic-Con. It's the new Power Ranger comic series by Boom Studios. They're partnering with Saban Brands. Mm-hmm. They've got 6 different one-page comic books that they're going to be putting out at San Diego. 1 page for each character of the comics.
And this is, of course, the Mighty Morphin.
The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, yes. Yesterday was the anniversary of the release of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. So, no surprise that the announcement comes out on the same day.
Well, it seems fitting. Though, I remember I was a fan of the original series, and then about midway through them going off and changing, I just kind of lost interest.
Yeah, they've changed way too much now.
I believe they're at, the 9th or 10th version of the Power Rangers on television.
Well, that's why you're going to like this comic book. They're going back to the 1990 version of Power Rangers in these comic books.
The Mighty Morphin.
Yeah, so they're going back to the originals, the best version of them. The only version worth mentioning.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah. They're going to hand one out. You can read them singly. You can get all 6, put them together, and actually have a proper comic book. The pinup art is done by Joni Montez, who did RoboCop. It's going to be the pinup on one side. It's going to be... The comic is written by Marguerite Scott. I apologize if I can't pronounce names right. Transformers Witchblade. So that's going to be very unique. You got some big names there.
Yeah.
And illustrated by Daniel Bayliss, who did Translucid. So, 3 big names right there doing the comic for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I'm excited to see it. We waited a long time. It's unique, everything that's coming back this year. Jurassic World, you got Terminator coming back. We've had Star Wars coming back this year. We got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers coming back. Now the announcement Howard the Duck is coming back. Brand new Spider-Man. It's a very unique, entertaining year to be in comics, to be related to geek, to just pretty much surrounded by geek. It's a haven.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. So we have a busy year, obviously. Anytime some things like this come out, we talk about. I have 4 pages of stuff today that I apparently talked about all of it.
Well, yeah, mostly, though, that was the...
mostly the comics.
Mostly comics. Something that's, of course, come out is... Marvel has went off and has announced the working title for the sequel to last year's Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be called Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which I think is a playoff of the name of the awesome remix that Star Wars listens to.
To me it sounds like they're trying to make it as a comic book. A movie as a comic book. It's an interesting play.
And honestly, I think you're wrong there. I think it's the playoff, the soundtrack, because music was so important in the first movie. And that mixtape that his mom makes him, all those songs, how, much impact they have on the story